So now the redressal mechanism, what it says, ICC is a short form for internal complaints. As I said, 10 employees or more than 10, you need to have a committee. Now this ICC, somebody asked that question, how many members should be there? So minimum 4 members. 4 members, the chairperson of that committee has to be a woman. This is mandatory. Chairperson is not the CEO of that organization. You must remember, in some organizations they make it like that. Like the chairperson is the CEO, is the chairperson for that presiding officer for that committee. The presiding officer has to be a woman. And then it says that half of its members, so it says that 2 members from that should be such that who have experience in social cause or legal knowledge. This is another stipulation, should have some experience in social work or knowledge about legal thing, which is now they are talking about 2 members from the employees, which can be male employees, which can be female employees. And it should include a third party member, which is an external member. Earlier, when there were Vishaka guidelines, the wording was it had to be a woman from a organization which is working for the cause of women. But now it says a phrase that social worker from an NGO which can be man who has worked for the cause of women. So, this thing we must be clear that, it's not necessarily you have to have a woman, but even a man who has worked for the cause of women or familiar. See, the words are sometimes can be, very catchy also because favoritism. So the employer will select somebody who is aware about the issue because the sentence is familiar with issues. That's how, later on if investigation is done, there is a monitoring mechanism by the government which will check how the committee is being formed. So even that, the process of forming committee is equally, so therefore 4-member minimum, which will suppose include an external member. So 4-member minimum, so that half of them are women. So 2 of them are women and maybe 1 can be a man and 1 can be, or both 2 can be men. The external member also can be a man. So what it says, the condition is 1/2 should be women. There can be more number of women, but the half should be women. That is a very critical thing, and it should be headed by a woman. So these are the important stipulations. It should be headed by a senior woman. So what happens if there are organizations, if you don't find a woman from that, then they say that if you have a branch or a subsidiary, then you should take from there. A senior woman who is a headed woman. Suppose in that office you don't have. So you should have a mechanism. And this period for this committee is generally 3 years. After 3 years you can re-induct that same person. And it also says that if it is a subsidiary company, you need to have a separate ICC. Generally, the practical solution is that you have an apex committee which is at the central. So some of the apex committee members can be, but if there is other location, then 1 representative of that location will be added. See, if the minimum
committee which is more than 4 people, if you have many more.
Yeah, so it is 7-member. So generally the trend is 7. Why? Because there may be some people who may be traveling. But the quorum required, we will see later, is for every meeting there should be minimum 3. Minimum 3 people at a time whenever there is a meeting. So therefore, if you just have 4 people and if suppose 2 people are traveling, then it won't be a quorum. So generally the trend is to have 7 people.